guys, editing me here. So you remember how I mentioned Mark Epstein and how he despised his brother? Well, I actually did a little bit more digging, and turns out that's not entirely true. So I found a video of Jeffrey Epstein's niece. It's linked down below now, so it is there for you to watch if you would like to see it. Pardon my hair. It's fine. But, Mark Epstein, you can't find any criminal records on him. I've looked it up. He doesn't have any crimes, but it doesn't sound like he didn't not support his brother anyway from the video that I watched. And the way that he raised his daughter was to believe like the craziest things, like the cult of Baal. So I just want you guys to watch that video linked down below and let me know what you think. I'm gonna finish watching this video and then maybe I'll start working on a video on him in just a couple of days. Let me gather some information. So, enjoy this video, because I might put this in the beginning actually, now that I think about it. So bye. And I hope you guys enjoyed Andrew's video from last Sunday. I really hope my ring light isn't very distracting, because I got a different tripod from my last one so we can feel more like up, but it's whatever. Before I start this video, you read the title. I just want to say I have no plans of disappearing from the face of the planet. I am very happy in my life. I love my fiance. My fiance loves me. And I have no plans of just disappearing. So if I go missing, I didn't plan to. Now anyway, without further ado, let's get into the Jeffrey Epstein files, because this video is about to be a wild, wild ride. Alright, so today we are going to be talking about Jeffrey Epstein and what this man did. He actually did quite a lot, and it just seems like Mr. President and Pamela Bondi and the rest of the gang are just delaying and delaying the files and what's in them. But I found a website, and it will be linked down below, and it has Ghislaine Maxwell's flight logs, a contact book, the victim list, but all the victim names are blacked out so you cannot see them, but you can see how many there were, and other things like that. But I have some screenshots and screen recordings, so I will pop those up in this video, and they will all be on this side because there's just no room on this side. And I'm so sorry. For those who liked this being on, it will not be on because it's iffy. Anyway, Jeffrey Epstein, I will be reading off of my laptop today. Let's discuss him for a moment. Mr. Epstein was born on January 20th, 1953, and he died August 10th, 2019. He was born and was raised and lived in Brooklyn, New York. He was 66 years old when he died. So he was quite old when he died. I still don't think he killed himself. There's just no way. I refuse to believe it. I just refuse to believe that. There's no way. His professions, they were financer, a broker, teacher. Who let this man be a teacher with like actual children? He was a philanthropist, criminal, and an investor. He had one singular sibling named Mark Epstein, There's not really too much information about him. He really kind of lives a private life, but not too private. He absolutely despises what his brother did. That's all I can really tell you. His cause of death was suicide by hanging. His education, he went to Cooper Union, no degree. He also went to New York University, also no degree. Shocker. And now we're going to get into his criminal history and the horrible things that he did. I'm going to take my glasses off because the ring light is bothering me. Anyway, his criminal charges: procuring a child for prostitution and sex trafficking. It's hard to talk about because it's like, this happens every day with like unwealthy people too. And it just gets overlooked because the people that do it aren't wealthy. And the fact that he's wealthy and has a connection to our president, it's being looked at. And that's the only reason it's being looked at. So, like, regular sex trafficking, we need to start looking at that more. I'm not saying it gets ignored. It just doesn't get as much attention as to when, like, a big, wealthy, famous person does it. And, that's kind of twisted. And I don't like that. But, he would recruit young women between the ages of, like, I think 12 and, like, 16. Just non-legal women, basically. If they weren't an adult, you know, he would recruit them and have them come and do things for him that would lead to assaults. And then he did not do it alone. He had an accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, which is this woman right here. She is currently in prison. She is still alive. So someone needs to talk to her and get the information, because Jeffrey is no longer with us. He cannot give us the information that we are looking for. The only information we can get is from the internet and from Miss Ghislaine Maxwell. His victim count is 1,000 plus. He had an island called Epstein's Island. If I remember correctly, it was probably not even correct, but it was out of the way. I'll find a picture. I'll put it here. And he also had his own private jet called the Lolita Express. Lolita actually has a bunch of different definitions, because it is also a Spanish word. I'm not going to get into the definitions because Google is free. I'll let you guys look that up because I'm not doing that. I don't want that in my search history. It's bad enough I have Jeffrey Epstein in my search history because of this video. But yeah, he had his own private jet called the Lolita Express. And I will unfortunately put that in here. It'll go right here for y'all. Let's see. The penalty that he paid was 13 months, and that was in 2008, until he was ultimately arrested in 2019 on July 6th. So that was when he was officially arrested. As in, that's it, you're done, you're stuck here, and you're not getting out. The only way you're getting out is in a casket, pretty much. And that's exactly what he did. But not of his own free will. There's just... He didn't hang himself. I'm sorry. He didn't. Somebody did it. There's also a Netflix documentary. I don't know if any of you guys have watched it, but I watched it. It's called Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich. And it goes, like, in a lot of detail about him, what he did, his crimes. It even has, like, his victims in it. Like, they talk about what happened. They don't go into grave detail about what happened, but they tell you their sad stories, and it's actually, a lot more heartbreaking than you expect it to be. Like, you know it's going to be heartbreaking when you go into it, but it's like even more so when you actually sit and watch it. I think at one point when I watched it, I cried, because it's like a lot of women can relate to the things that he did to them outside of just him as a whole. Like, every woman has some kind of story, and it's like, it's crazy because I even can relate, and it's upsetting that we live in a period where stuff like this can happen and it gets overlooked. And when you do go and tell somebody, they're just like, no, that's not happening. No, that's not real. And then it takes like third or fourth person, and then they're like, oh, this is happening? Okay, let's actually do something about it. And then it's already too late, because then too many people have already been hurt. So it's like, justice system, you failed us. What are you doing? You know? But it's like, the justice system fails us like literally every day. So it's like, we're not surprised at this point, but whatever. I feel like I'm moving fast, but I'm just reading bullet points real quick before I get into just like other things. But yeah, there's a documentary. I have it linked down in the description below, along with all the other information. There is a prison CCTV video out right now that has been leaked of the day of his death. It's kind of crazy to watch. I'm gonna put it up here right now. The video I found is sped up, but it's the only one I could find without like people talking and narrating what's going on. So I could do that. But there's like prison guards walking Jeffrey to his cell, and then they leave him in there for the rest of the day. And I think like meal times are incorporated in that, so every so often you see them go and take like the prisoners trays of food. And then like in other videos you see people go in through like this door that's up in the like staircase area, and like they just keep going in and out, and it's kind of weird because like we don't know what they're doing. And then you can see when like the guards are like getting alarmed that something is going on with Jeffrey in his cell, but they're not acting frantic. Like, they're not acting like, oh my god, there's something going on, is there something happening? Like, it's like it just happens in one like swift motion, like it was a scheduled appointment, and then people are like going, and then they're acting a little concerned, like, oh, there's a body, looks like we gotta do something, there's a notorious pedophile here, dead, whoa, he hung himself, like, okay. But yeah, it's kind of like, and it's also a little eerie to watch too, because it's like footage that's never been shown until the Epstein files themselves have been like talked about. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was until his death was talked about when it happened back in like 2019. Like, I had no idea who this guy was. Like, he was super irrelevant to me, and his existence meant nothing until his death happened, and then I was like, okay, well, who is this guy? What did he do? And what is his job? And why is he in jail? And then when I looked him up and like did research, I was like, wow. Like, this guy is terrible. Like, he's trafficking these young girls and giving them to people and having them do favors, we'll call it, so I don't get flagged on this video. Having them do favors for them, and he's not even doing it alone. His wife, girlfriend, whatever she was to him, is helping and also participated in these favors. Like, when you really sit down and look up Jeffrey Epstein, it's wild. Like, and the fact that these files have been talked about and people are like, oh, we have the files. Let me, look into it and give you the names of people that are on the list. And then now we have people going like, oh, there is no list. There are no files. These don't exist. Like, now you're making this criminal look innocent. Like P. Diddy, for example. I didn't know who he was because my mom and dad never listened to him. And when I figured out who P. Diddy was, I was disgusted. I was appalled. And it's like a lot of my favorite artists were attacked by him. And it's like, wow, this stuff really happens in the world and people aren't doing anything about it. And it sucks. And it's just like, release the list, release the files, put these people in jail for life, okay? I don't know why pedophiles and people like this don't get life, okay? Like, keep them in there. Or, like, repeat offenders can't repeat if they're dead. Just saying. Speaking of the Epstein files and Pamela Bondi, I am just gonna cut to a website real quick that I screen recorded and read just for y'all. And then we'll be right back. Attorney General Pamela Bondi releases first phase of declassified Epstein files. Today, Attorney General Pamela Bondi, in conjunction with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, declassified and publicly released files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his sexual exploitation of over 250 underage girls at his homes in New York and Florida, among other locations. The first phase of declassified files largely contains documents that have been previously leaked but never released in a formal capacity by the U.S. government. This Department of Justice is following through on President Trump's commitment to transparency and lifting the veil on the disgusting actions of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators, said Attorney General Pamela Bondi. The first phase of files released today sheds light on Epstein's extensive network and begins to provide the public with long overdue accountability. The FBI is entertaining a new era, one that will be defined by integrity, accountability, and an unwavering pursuit of justice, said FBI Director Kash Patel. There will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, and no stone left unturned. And anyone from the prior or current bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued. If there are gaps, we will find them. If records have been hidden, we will uncover them. And we will bring everything we find to the DOJ to be fully assessed and transparently words are hard, disseminated to the American people as it should be. The oath we take is to the Constitution and under my leadership. That promise will be upheld without compromise. Attorney General Bondi requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response, the department received approximately 200 pages of documents. However, the Attorney General was later informed thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein that were not previously disclosed. The Attorney General has requested that the FBI deliver the remaining documents to the department by 8:00 a.m. on February 28th and has tasked FBI Director Kash Patel with investigating why the request for all documents was not followed. The department remains committed to transparency and intends to release the remaining documents upon review and redaction to protect the identities of Epstein's victims. A copy of Attorney General Bondi's letter can be downloaded here. And then here are some of the links to all the documents below. And if you would like to see all of these things, they will be linked down in the description box below. But I just want to show you all the logs with Ghislaine Maxwell real quick. Because they're very interesting. Granted, the handwriting is like chicken scratch, so I will not be trying to read them. And there's the pilot's signature, so he needs to be arrested as well, just saying. And look, it looks like it's been cut off. Like they didn't take the full picture. And there's obviously other names there besides Jeffrey and Ghislaine. I don't know who Ava Anderson is. I don't know if some of these are like the victims or if they're people that were just going with them. And then this one's just like really bad. But like either way, it's terrible. Alright, guys. So that was the Epstein files, Pamela Bondi, and Jeffrey Epstein as a whole. I just, I hope we get this figured out. I really do. And I hope that once we do get the situation figured out, that maybe it puts our president behind bars. It said, sustainability, responsibility, accountability, and I'm like, none of those things are happening. Like, nobody's being responsible, nobody's telling the truth. Like, none of those things are happening. It's all lies right now. It's all lies and deceit, and you're hiding it. You're hiding the truth to protect the leader of our country, who is slowly like dismantling everything, and by the way is unhealthy. You're supposed to be healthy to be the US president, and sir, you're currently not healthy. I have seen your reports, and your arteries shouldn't make you look like a pregnant woman. Like, your ankles are cankles right now, and it's giving unhealthy, and that tan you have needs to go. If you're gonna rule the country, you need to be healthy and not look like a dying orange, okay? And that toupee you got going on needs to go. You need to go, okay? Like, you are destroying everything. As we mentioned in the big beautiful bill, that's not beautiful. So yeah, Mr. President, you and Mr. Epstein in this video and these pictures, you can say you weren't there and that his behavior is disgusting, but you were there, and you yourself said that if Ivana wasn't your daughter, you would take her out on a date. Like, what man looks at her daughter and thinks that and then says it? And also, Bill Clinton, I see you. You are also there. And so were you, Prince Andrew. Like, Google is free. You could say you weren't there, but you were. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you were there. You all were. And you guys are just like the three wealthiest people that just happened to be there. So it just makes me wonder who else was there. And David Roger, the pilot, you gotta be arrested too, my guy. For helping. For aiding. Like, I did a lot of research, and I have linked down below. So, like, you can read the flight records too. if you're interested in that kind of thing. Like I said, somebody needs to interview Ghislaine and get the info, because she's already in jail for being guilty. What more is she gonna do? They can't make her sentence worse than it already is, because she's already said she was guilty and already confessed to the crime and has already told them everything. All she needs to do is give us what we need. And what else was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else. But yeah, you guys are all there. And it's all over the internet. Google is free. It's there, you know. You can literally just look it up. And boom, there it is. But Jeffrey Epstein was a piece of shit. And so was everybody that was there and everybody that was a part of it. And if you agree with it or support it, then I hope you have the day you deserve, and that you get the karma you deserve, and that good things do not happen to you. That's all I have to say. And I just hope that at some point we figure this out. You know, we fix the things that need fixed. But I'm not going to ramble anymore. That was the video on Jeffrey Epstein, and I will see you guys next time.